Today we have Chris Dawson, founder and editor of Tamebay.com. Chris is going to discuss how independent and online retailers can grow their sales through Amazon and eBay. So I'm going to hand you over, kick off proceedings. Chris Dawson, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Morning. Nice to see everyone bright and early. And really, what I want to talk about today isn't being bright and early. It's what's happened in the last 20, 30 years that's changing retail, but more importantly, what's going to happen in the future, what we can look forward to over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and how that will affect your business. And we'll be looking at some of the marketplaces like eBay's and Amazon's, looking at what buyers want, but more importantly, looking at how people are going to be shopping in the future. Now, I don't know if anyone's ever seen these two logos before, but this is eBay's and Amazon's first ever logos from the late 1990s. And I think you'll agree, they look pretty much nothing like the eBay or Amazon logo today. And in fact, this is eBay's first website. So if you were on the internet back in late 96, early 1997, this is what the internet looked like, and that's what eBay looked like. And it wasn't even called eBay, it was called Auction Web. So you go onto Auction Web, and that's where people started to buy and sell on the internet. And frankly, Amazon didn't look much better. Anyone that's been on Amazon's website won't really recognize this today, but this was Earth's biggest bookstore. This is where Amazon started back in the late 1990s. But we're only talking about 20 years ago. It's not really a very long time frame. Because everything happens really fast on the internet. And desktop computers are only about 30 years old. And really, they weren't very convenient, but it was the first time that you could actually go on the internet, let alone buy anything online. But they were slow to start up. Everyone remembers Windows 95 and 97, how horrible those operating systems were. You were tied to your desk, so it was a big box to lump around. It was very expensive. I remember people paying like £1,500 for a computer. And then laptops came along. And we were promised that laptops were the future. You could be mobile. You could take your laptop out and about. You could take it home. You could work on the train. You could be out of the office. But actually, it was a broken promise because laptop battery life was rubbish. Most people's battery, if it was a laptop, if it was a couple of years old, you'd be lucky to get an hour out of your battery life. And also, there was one other major problem with laptops, and that was there was no internet. So when you were out of the office, you couldn't connect your office servers, you couldn't get your email, you couldn't get on the internet, you couldn't do anything. There was no Wi-Fi, there was no 3G or 4G. So laptops didn't really cut it. But that was only about 20 years ago. And then a revolution happened just about a decade ago, and that was the first iPhone, came out in 2007, so not even 10 years ago. The first smartphone, that was the time that the promise actually came that you could work anywhere, because people had a phone in their pocket, and they could get their email on the move. They could get on the internet on the move. And Apple weren't the first smartphone, but they were the best smartphone of that generation. The first iPhone really revolutionized the smartphone. I remember my old HP iPad, and it didn't really do that much. I could get my email on it, but smartphones came along. And then just 5 years ago, tablets came along. And tablets, again, revolutionized everything, because suddenly you had a big screen that you could take out. It wasn't quite as big as a laptop, but it was as big as a netbook. And these tablets really work. You see people on the train with their iPads and their little keyboards. Nowadays, there's Wi-Fi on trains, so actually laptops are suddenly becoming more useful. But if you look at the speed of change, it's like only 20, 30 years ago, we didn't even have the internet. And then eBay and Amazon came along, and laptops and smartphones and tablets. And the speed of change is just getting faster and faster. And now, in the UK, 2/3 of every visit to a shopping site is done on a mobile device. So people aren't using desktops anymore. They're not using laptops even. They're using smartphones. They're using tablets. This is how people are shopping today. It's changed. You may occasionally go and sit down at your desktop and go browsing on Google for for whatever you want to purchase or on eBay or Amazon, but most people are just using the device that they've got in their pocket, their mobile phone. So how are buyers actually shopping? Well, if you look at typical desktop, everyone's got Google on their desktop, on their mobile. If you've got an Apple device, you've got Siri, and you can speak to your phone and tell it, OK, Google, find me this, go and search for that. But there's one other way people are shopping on mobiles, and that is almost everyone with a mobile phone, a smartphone, have got a shopping app installed. And I'm sorry, but it's probably not your shopping app that they're installing, if you've even got a shopping app. They've probably got eBay's shopping app and Amazon's shopping app. And there's only really 3 ways that people buy on their phone. It's they just go into Google and start searching, or more likely, they start their search on Amazon, or they start their search on eBay. 2/3 of visits to shopping sites are on mobile, and most of the people on the mobile have got one of those 2 apps, plus Google or Siri. So that's the reality of how people are looking to purchase your products and where they're starting their search. And eBay today is massive. It's got millions, hundreds of millions of buyers around the world. They claim to have something like 800 million listings. eBay was one of the very first mobile apps. eBay was a front runner in the mobile app business. They're the first major iPhone app, and they are still the first major Android app, but they've got more downloads for their shopping app than any other app across the world. So eBay is the #1 app on mobile phones. They're also doing loads of interesting things like, I don't know if any of you have seen that you can actually pick up your eBay purchases at an Argos store now. So if you're not at home during the day, they've partnered with Argos, you can have your goods delivered to Argos and pick them up in the day. They're doing lots of innovative things that we as an independent retailer may not be able to do. But Amazon are no slouch either. They've got millions of customers. They've got over 50 million people that are Prime customers, which means they pay a subscription to get free next-day delivery. And something like 40-odd% of people actually start their search on Amazon when they're looking to buy something. And a lot of those people are starting their search on Amazon because they've got their mobile phone and it's got the Amazon app on it. But the great thing about Amazon is Amazon are a retailer, and you've probably seen they're competing with booksellers, was the big thing that Amazon started with. And then they're competing with all sorts of other retailers. But now they're starting to compete. You've probably seen stories in the press about Amazon starting to compete with the supermarkets selling food. So Amazon are growing more and more. But still, almost half the products sold on Amazon are sold by independent retailers, not by Amazon themselves. So Amazon is a huge marketplace where you can actually supply products and sell. And the third-party business on Amazon is growing at 36% a year. That's double the rate of e-commerce, and it's actually growing faster than Amazon's own retail sales. So independent retailers selling on Amazon is growing faster than Amazon can grow their own business. So people like you are very important to Amazon, but also buyers are shopping from people like you, which is why Amazon is so key. And that brings me nicely to a favourite TV programme of mine, which doesn't really exist anymore, Top Gear. Well, it does exist because Chris Evans took it over, but Chris Evans is now gone, so we're not really sure who's going to take over Top Gear. But Amazon snapped up Clarkson, Hammond and May and said, come onto our platform, we provide video, come and make a new car programme for us. And that's really what Amazon Prime is about. Most people think of Amazon Prime as something which gives me free next-day delivery from Amazon. But what Amazon are doing is they're building out a whole retail infrastructure to kind of tie people in. And I tell you, they've kind of tied me into watching, it's going to be called The Grand Tour, Clarkson's new programme. But as well as the delivery benefits, they're giving me video benefits. They want to be like, instead of going to Netflix or instead of signing up to Sky, sign up to Amazon to consume your TV programmes. And they're also supplying music. So if you're listening to the radio, or maybe you use something like Spotify, well, if you've got an Amazon Prime subscription, Amazon will give you free music as well. So maybe you don't need Spotify anymore. Obviously, they've got books, but they've also got ebooks. So if you've got a Kindle, or basically if you've got any smartphone or tablet, you can download a Kindle app, and you can actually have free ebooks from Amazon. If you've got Amazon Prime, you can actually say, yeah, I know I've got free next-day delivery, but I'm buying something I'm not in a hurry for. and they'll give you some credits so you can buy a free ebook for your Kindle. They've got free photo sharing. You can actually share your Prime account with other people in your family. And then they're adding on new things like Amazon Pantry, and they've just added on Amazon Fresh so that you can get fresh food delivered. And in certain cities, they've got Amazon Now so that you can have items delivered within an hour. So they're building out an infrastructure, and it's tying in consumers to them. And that's where Amazon are going, tying in consumers for the next stage of marketplace evolution, which is screenless devices. This is an Amazon Echo. It's only available in the States so far, but they've sold over 3 million of them. And this is where the future of the internet's going to be. So I'd just like to show you a short video, which will tell you a bit more about it.
From Amazon? I didn't know what it was. What is it?
You'll see.
Is it for me?
It's for everyone. It's called Amazon Echo.
How's it going?
I'm just finishing up right now.
Is it on?
Oh, it's always on.
Can it hear me right now?
Nope. It only hears you when you use the wake word we chose. Alexa.
Well, what does it do?
Alexa, what do you do?
I can play music, answer questions, get the news and weather, create to-do lists, and much more.
Awesome. Alexa, play rock music.
Rock music.
Alexa, stop.
Wait, I want to try. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 3:27.
You actually don't have to yell at it, okay? It uses far-field technology so it can hear you from anywhere in the room.
So it can just hear you anywhere?
Yes. Well, everyone can hear you anyway.
Oh, is that where we're going to put it?
I was thinking of putting it there, but it works anywhere.
Echo is pretty neat because it knows all sorts of things.
It's on
All you have to do
Tuesday.
is ask.
Alexa, how tall is Mount Everest?
Mount Everest's height is 29,029 feet, 8,848
How
meters.
can it know so much? It's so small.
It updates using the cloud. That's also how it gets its answers.
Just read that off the box, huh?
Dad really likes that Echo just plugs in, so we never have to charge it. Plus, Echo's really good at keeping track of things like shopping and to-do lists.
Wrapping paper. Alexa, add wrapping paper to the shopping list.
I've put wrapping paper on your shopping list.
Alexa, how many teaspoons are in a tablespoon?
1 tablespoon equals 3 teaspoons.
Okay. Alexa, set a timer for 8 minutes.
8 minutes starting now.
Dad's not a morning person, but Echo definitely helps him wake up.
Alexa, alarm off.
You gotta get up.
It's Saturday.
Alexa, what day is it?
Today is Thursday, November 13th.
I'm up. Alexa, give me my flash news briefing.
Here's your flash briefing.
From NPR News in Washington, I'm Lakshmi Singh.
Mom, what did the dog say after a long day of work?
What?
Today was rough. Did you get it? Get it?
Yeah, I get
it. Another one.
Alexa, tell me another joke.
I wondered why the baseball was getting bigger, and then it hit me.
Sometimes Echo helps out when you least expect it.
Hey, Dad, how do you spell cantaloupe?
Cantaloupe. C-A-N-T... Alexa, how do you spell cantaloupe?
Cantaloupe is spelled C-A-N-T-A-L-O-U-P-E.
Good job.
Echo loves to play music and knows a lot of songs, and they always sound great.
Alexa, play my dance mix.
The playlist dance.
Alexa, stop. Alexa, define annoying.
The term annoying means 1, causing irritation or annoyance.
Example, my brother.
And with the companion app, you can access Echo from anywhere. With everything Echo can do, it's really become part of the family.
To experience Echo, go to amazon.com/echo.
So that's Amazon's new device. And that's the type of device that people are going to be having in their homes soon. And you can now see why Amazon has spent so much money building out their infrastructure. It's like, Amazon, play my music playlist. How's Amazon going to know what your playlist unless you're already using Amazon Music? Or Amazon, show me something on the TV, turn my TV on. How are they going to turn your TV on unless you've got an Amazon Prime subscription so that they know which film that they can show you? Amazon put this on my shopping list. I need a present for someone, buy me the latest Lego toy, whatever it happens to be, buy me a new lamp for my house, buy me some tea bags. How are Amazon going to do that unless you've got an Amazon account with Prime so that they can ship things to you next day? But more importantly, as a retailer, how can you get your products onto a device like this unless you're already supplying them through Amazon? And there's going to be other devices as well. We've already got things like wearable devices, like we've got smart wristwatches, we've got fitness bands that will monitor our heartbeat and sleeping patterns and everything. But more and more devices in the future are going to be what I'd call screenless devices. So unlike our first computer and then our laptop and then our smartphone and then our tablet, where we can see what we're buying, in the future, these screenless devices are going to be listening to us so that almost anywhere you are, eventually you'll be able to say, oh, I need this, buy it for me, and some device somewhere will be listening for you and will order it. And Amazon aren't alone. Google have also got a similar device coming out called Google Home. And again, it's a device similar. If anyone here's got an Android smartphone, you know with your smartphone you can say, OK, Google, and your smartphone will wake up ready to respond, find me directions to here, put this on my shopping list, what's my next diary appointment, send a text message. Google Home will do the same thing for you. Microsoft are also working on a device called Microsoft Concierge. We don't know too much about it, apart from the fact that we've seen a job advert for people to work on it. So we know Microsoft are looking at a device. But obviously, Microsoft, if you've got Windows 10, you've probably also already seen this thing down in the bottom called Cortana, either on your laptop or desktop or on your mobile device. So Microsoft are building this technology out as well. So we know what Amazon, Google, and Microsoft are doing. Apple are really interesting because Apple are not an innovator. Apple didn't make the first smartphone. They didn't make the first tablet. They didn't even make the first iPod music device. What they did is they waited till someone else made it, and then they took their time and they developed the idea and they made it really, really good, which is why the iPhone was so successful and why we loved iPads, because Apple don't bring out a device until they've got a superb version. So we know in the latest Apple update, they upgraded Siri enormously, and I would predict that sooner or later, Apple will be bringing out a device like this. They've already got Apple TV, they've already got boxes in our houses, so why wouldn't they bring out a butler concierge type device? eBay don't make devices. eBay have never made a mobile phone or a tablet or a computer or a laptop. But eBay do have the #1 app of all time on mobile phones. So the chances are that eBay will partner with Google's device or Microsoft's device or whatever other devices come out. Maybe something like Sony. Maybe we'll see this type of service come out on the Sony PlayStations in the future. So it's just a games box which could also do other things for us and is always listening. And as a retailer, what we need to figure out is how can we be there when our customers are buying like this? Our customers don't always want to go to the high street. They don't always even want to go online necessarily. With a device like the Amazon Echo, they just want to say, Alexa, I need a gift for my next door neighbour's daughter. What would you recommend? Yeah, can you buy it and have it shipped to me, please? And that could be a product that you're selling. I need to be able to find that product, so you need to find a way of letting me find it on the devices I'm using. And buyers are getting more demanding, and they are changing how they shop. If you go back 30-odd years, the only way you really shopped was either to go to the high street and walk into a physical shop, or I remember the old magazines that you got in the Sunday papers, and you'd buy something, mail order, you'd cut out a coupon and send it off with a cheque, and if you were lucky, you would get it within 28 working days. But buyers have changed. They don't want to wait 28 days anymore. They don't want necessarily to have a catalogue through the post. They want your product to be available to them on whatever device they want to use, at whatever time of day they want to buy it, at a reasonable price. But they still expect the service. They still expect that if they're on the internet at 10 o'clock at night and they send you an email, they expect a response. You're probably not wanting to work at 10 o'clock at night, but that's what buyers are demanding. They're wanting that if they buy something at 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening, that you might be able to deliver it tomorrow. Buyers are expecting, because they're used to going onto Amazon, onto eBay, onto the internet, they're used to having things delivered. And if you go to Next, for example, you can buy something at 10 o'clock at night and have it delivered the next day. That's amazing if you think about it, but that's what buyers are starting to get used to. Now, as a small independent business, it's very unlikely you can offer that sort of service, because even if you stay till 10 o'clock at night to pack your orders, the courier's probably not going to pick up from you until the next working day. But by partnering with sites like Amazon, you can suddenly start offering that type of service. And it really is about the convenience for the customer. The customer may love your product. You may be selling a giftware set that's a collectible set, and maybe each season there's a new product that comes out in that set that people want to buy. So your customers may be very loyal and engaged with you, but even so, they want to buy on their terms nowadays in whatever method they feel fit is easiest. And sadly, they also want returns. Sometimes they'll buy something online, and it's actually their legal right that if they decide they don't like it, they can send it back to you. So buyers are starting to demand an awful lot more from us than they ever have in the past. And it's up to us to figure out how to deliver that. And again, marketplaces can do an awful lot of that legwork for us. They can make your products available at any time of the day or night to buy, even when you're shut. Obviously, you can have your own website as well, but how do you get it to them? Well, if you've got your products in Amazon, you can put them in Amazon's warehouse and they'd be eligible for Amazon Prime, and it's Amazon's job then to deliver them, often the next day, or in some cases, with Prime Now, within an hour. What about selling around the world? Because borders don't mean anything on the internet. We've had all this talk about the EU and Brexit, and are we going to stay in the EU, come out of the EU, what's our trading relationship going to be? Frankly, the consumers across Europe don't care about any of that. They'll just buy and assume that you can get the goods to them. And again, marketplaces like Amazon with their fulfillment and eBay with their global shipping program can do all of the shipping around the world for you. There may be some countries you may say, well, it's really relatively easy to ship France and Germany, so I'll ship to those countries myself. But what if someone from Russia or Brazil or Mongolia or China buys from you? Let eBay do the shipping. Let Amazon do the shipping. What about click and collect? Well, Amazon have got click and collect with Doddle stores and Amazon lockers. eBay have got click and collect with Argos. Think about your own independent business. How many outlets does your shop have? Does it cover the country? As soon as you sell on eBay with Argos, there's 750 different Argos stores across the country that I, as a consumer, could choose to pick up your products from. You're now putting your products where I want so that I can pick them up. It might be at 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock after I've done the school run. It might be 7 o'clock in the evening on my way home from work, but whenever I want to go to Argos, I can collect my product. And when you're selling on Amazon, Amazon can actually help you sell even more if you use their tools. I mentioned about Amazon Prime. By putting your products into Amazon's warehouse, you become eligible for Prime. Now, when I shop on Amazon, because I've already paid my Amazon Prime subscription, I tend to click show me products which are Prime eligible. And what that means is I'm saying to Amazon, show me products that you can deliver tomorrow that you won't charge me a carriage charge on because I've already paid my £79 a year for it. Now, as soon as I click that box, if your products aren't Prime eligible, Amazon instantly hide them from me. So it doesn't matter how good your product is, I won't see it. And if I can't see it, I won't buy it. And it gives you a huge boost as well. If you look on Amazon, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but when you go to buy something, it gives you what they call a buy box, which if you just click buy it now, or if you've got one-click shipping enabled, you click a single button and it's bought. It gives you one option to buy, but beneath that box, if you look, it's got offers from other sellers. Now, other sellers may not be eligible for Prime, they may not be offering next day shipping, so Amazon are going to pick the offer that they think is best for me. And by working with Amazon, with their FBA fulfillment by Amazon, putting your products into Amazon's warehouse makes it much more likely that I will buy them. And it also obviously makes it much more likely that the other 50 million people that have got an Amazon Prime account will buy them. Not just in the UK, but across the whole of Europe, because again, you can put your products into an Amazon warehouse in the UK, and Amazon will fulfill them in Germany and France and Switzerland and Spain and Italy and Austria and across the rest of the EU for you. So you don't have to worry too much about the logistics. Make the logistics Amazon's problem, and it opens up a huge extra world from you as opposed to just selling in English on the UK sites. But it's not just about eBay and Amazon. There are a ton of other marketplaces out there as well. In the UK, there's marketplaces like Yumbles, which is a food marketplace. There's marketplaces like Not on the High Street, which is ideal for anyone here which is selling gift-type products. There's Etsy, which is for handcrafted type products. But there are also marketplaces with companies you probably wouldn't expect. For instance, Halfords have a marketplace. It's based largely around cycling accessories. But if you're selling gifts in the cycling space, then Halfords is definitely a marketplace you should be looking at. Game have got a marketplace, Tesco's have got a marketplace. So other retailers are starting to open up marketplaces which you should at least be aware of. If you're not selling cycling accessories or motor accessories, obviously Halfords is not going to be suitable for you. But I'm sure there are going to be other marketplaces in the future which might just fit the niche that you operate in. And it's also worth realising that while in the UK, when we talk about marketplaces, most people instantly think of, oh yeah, you mean eBay, oh yeah, you're talking about Amazon. And in the UK, we normally are. The other marketplaces are much smaller. But if you go across to France, there are about 6 marketplaces, and eBay and Amazon are not the overriding big marketplaces. There's marketplaces like Cdiscount and Finac and Laradou and Spartu. Poland, Allegro is the biggest marketplace in Poland. So once you start selling abroad, it's worth looking at each individual country and looking at which marketplaces the consumers in those countries are using. Again, there's no point us thinking about where we want to sell our products. It's all about looking at our consumers and where they want to buy our products from. And it would be lovely if every consumer was willing to come to our shop or our website to buy our products. But the reality is, they're not. They're busy people, they're on their mobiles. Very soon they'll be on their screenless devices and they'll be buying from us where they want to buy. And we just need to make sure that they can get our products in those places. And around the world, again, if you go as far away as China or the Middle East, Far East, even as far as New Zealand, eBay doesn't exist, but it's very, very small over there. In New Zealand, everyone uses TradeMe. And they sell everything on TradeMe, from cars and consumable items, electronics. They even sell sheep on TradeMe. They're literally, everyone in New Zealand will use TradeMe. In China, people will be on either Alibaba's Tmall or they'll be on JD.com. In America, Jet is a new marketplace. The Middle East, Jada Payday. So there's marketplaces all over the world. And I'm probably making you think, oh, how many of these marketplaces do I need to sell on? But the truth is, where you need to start is somewhere. And if currently you've got a retail shop, and maybe you've got your website, and maybe you've looked at eBay and Amazon, you've done a little bit on them, and you thought, well, I'll try them, or I'll put some of my products on those marketplaces, I just encourage you to go that bit further and maybe put the majority of your products on the marketplaces. Or pick one marketplace, whether it be eBay or Amazon, and put all of your new in-season products on and start learning how you can actually attract business from these buyers who are starting to buy in different ways in different places. So happy to answer any questions at all that you've got. I think we've got about 5-10 minutes left. I'm Chris Dawson. If you want to contact me afterwards, chris@tamebay.com. And Tamebay is a blog which focuses purely on marketplaces. So we write about what's happening with eBay, what's happening with Amazon, what's happening with things like the Amazon Echo that's going to affect how consumers buy in the future, and other marketplaces around the world. So feel free to subscribe and you'll get a daily update of news that's happening in the marketplace areas.